As an ex-employee of mine once said, after I had come up with a new process to help make things easier for everyone, lazy people have the best ideas. And now you know why she's an ex-employee. That was actually a true story, except for the ex-employee part, guys. So welcome to Xerath Prevails, folks. We're going to talk about how to do it the lazy way, how to unlock Queen Amidala the lazy way. You don't need Galactic Legends. You don't need new teams. You get to skip a ton of stuff. You get to get Datacrons that might actually help you in other game modes. It's a lot easier and probably just a better way of approaching things, especially if you're mid or early game, in my opinion. And I already did make a video about this a little bit ago, a month ago, but I did update a lot of the different things, and I'll be updating these a lot more frequently. Like, I doubt I'll do like a weekly one or something, but maybe every month, just to make sure everything's a little easier. I'll take notes. You'll crazy I'm going to take notes about Conquest, but a huge shout out to my patrons before we begin. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for everything, for all of the support. You guys have been amazing. And if you want to support this channel for free, all you gotta do is hit that thumbs up button, like, subscribe, comment, mount the algorithm, guys. Conquest is upon us. It is best if we are upon the algorithm as soon as possible. So this is something that I think my math has been off a little. I changed the numbers a little, but for the most part, here's the thing, guys. You only need crate 5. That's the baseline. I've been doing this on my smallest account for several different characters. I have Malicos now. I've unlocked Dark Trooper Moff Gideon, though I'm not using him. And then I have Darth Bane here that you can see after 3 conquests, he's at 201 shards. I just took a screenshot of him right before this conquest started. 250 shards, so pretty easily I got 49 shards last conquest. I'll get another 49 this one most likely, and then we'll finish him off in the 6th and final conquest. And so yeah, this is the way to do it, the path to victory. If you want to buy the Conquest Pass, this makes it even easier. It's $10 a month. If you don't want to do that, that's totally fine. You just have to use your Conquest currency to buy shards. That's the problem with it. You have to use it to buy shards. And if you're willing to do that, that's fine. If you're free to play, that totally makes sense. But that's the only money I spend on this account, and I think it's money well spent in general. So you're gonna need 6 months to unlock these characters. That's the problem with this method. Crate 5 is all you need. Crate 7 is red crate, so 5 is a couple below, and you need way fewer. You need 450 key cards. You don't have to min-max things, guys. You can skip a ton of stuff, and like I said, you have time to be able to get those relics or those feats, and then those Datacrons on top of that. In my opinion, this is a way better way of doing things than, like, unlocking things right away is nice, I'll grant you, but sometimes you just don't have the gear available anyways, or the team built for it, for that matter. But you want to unlock these characters. You don't have to do it in Proving Grounds. So, okay, so Crate 5... we can get 330 keycards just from 3-starring all the nodes, and that's something that I typically don't have a problem with once I have all my data chips and all of that stuff, or data disks, whatever. I'm actually going to be skipping the final node, so it's actually I'm only going to be getting 327 stars from this one, because that last conquest, it was a tough mission, and maybe I could have figured it out. I think I could have, but it's just not worth it. I don't care anything about the Sector 5 bonus node, really, and so we can just move on from that. So how do we need about 120, I guess 123 total key cards from feats. So here's the breakdown, folks. Well, first, here's data disks, and at the top, yeah, you can see my formatting is not the very best here, but I do have 2 different builds for data disks, and the ones that are really good, that aren't available, you can see as marked and labeled and annotated as not available. You guys wouldn't have figured that out on your own. You're welcome for explaining that to you. Now, the discs that I recommend are all here. There's probably a few that are good, but for the most part, build 1 and build 2 are there on the very top. It just one, you just want things with a lot of zealous ambition, or you can have stacking offense where you get a ton of buffs, and every time you get a buff, you get more offense. So you get heal over times. You do the entrenched thing because you start with buffs, and either build works really well here. Unfortunately, we don't have the Amplify Agony builds right now, which are a lot of fun, and Invasive Endings is really fun with those, by the way. But this is basically what we're going to be doing for data discs, folks. Just a couple builds, and honestly I am going to be trying to get these slides a little bit nicer moving forward. So okay, Sector 1, I've changed this. I was at 25 key cards. I decided to mark the armor shred, because it's really easy, guys. All you gotta do, really, so there's in Sector 1, one of the boss fights is a Night Sister node, and this is one where you can cheese a lot of stuff because there's zombie, and if you kill all of them except for like Night Sister Spirit and Zombie, then they just don't come back, and it's wonderful. And so you can get these feats fairly easily. You can get the Jedi kills and armor shred at the same time. Armor shred, you just put General Skywalker in and you put Cat in, and then you just have to, you do need to be careful, I guess, over the course of time. In the Night Sisters one, eventually you're going to shrink that poor zombie's health down so much that your armor shreds won't actually stick, because you'll kill the zombie before it sticks. But otherwise, while you're moving through the sectors, put General Skywalker on a team with other Galactic Republic characters, and you'll just be able to get all your armor shreds. It's only 30, it's fairly easy. And then C-3PO's on the team, so you just add, you just get 3 stacks of translation on Skywalker and Cat, and then every time they get a turn, or every time 3PO gets a turn, he does a basic, he reduces their cooldowns, and they cycle through their armor shreds fairly easily. So it's pretty easy. If you have Jedi Cal, you also have access to an armor shred every other turn that he takes, and Ki-Adi-Mundi also has an armor shred. So lots of options within Galactic Republic and within Jedi to be able to get kills for Jedi, and then get the world feat, or whatever it's called, the galactic, I don't remember, guys, the feat that you can get on all the nodes for Galactic Republic kills fairly easily. The secret intel one, I mean, if you have Rey, it's going to be a lot easier too, but honestly, if you find a team that you can be a little bit faster than with Jedi Training Rey, it only takes like 3 or 4 fights to get that secret intel fairly easily. And then if you have a Clone Wars Chewie, even if he's only like Gear 6, Gear 7, something like that, as long as you have his leadership, then just sit there, take a bunch of hits, and every time you take a hit, you get a tick for your defense up, and it's fairly easy. So you can do that one. So 25 key cards in Sector 2. This one is, I didn't change anything. I did add, the one thing I did add, and this is okay, apparently my face is blocking this. I need to mark off where my face is going to be on these before I make them. But you can get healed steal up with an Emperor Palpatine squad if you so choose. Remember, Sector 1 and 2 have some of the most skippable ones. If they're a huge pain in your buttocks, then either one of your buttocks, but whatever you call them. If anything's a really huge pain, remember, you're only getting 5 of the data, or the key cards, to be able to, you can skip 5. You can skip 5. We have a ton of wiggle room, as you'll see. And so if any of these are really a huge pain, but Health Steal Up is really easy. You just double dip with Emperor Palpatine and Visas Mar. And if you have both of them, even if you only have Emperor Palpatine, you can do this multiple times per fight, usually. And you just use his special, and you get 5 heal over time, or Health Steal Ups, and you only need a few of those anyways. Plague is no problem with Night Sisters, because you get plague spread, but then you also have no attackers. You want Marin here, not some other scrub that from old school Night Sisters. Remember, guys, we're trying to be new and modern Night Sisters. Of course, we want that. But I mean, you see the screenshot of the characters that I'm using. I got this. They killed so much. The Night Sisters are just so amazing in Conquest, guys. They're the gift that keeps giving. Highly recommend you get Daka up to Relic 5 and then basically stop gearing them. It's amazing. And then if you want to evade, folks, it's a matter of getting a ton of, find a team that doesn't do an enormous amount of damage. Or that do like lots of AoEs, something like a Karth team maybe, and then just add both of your Yodas to the team, and you just spread out. You put Foresight up, they do an AoE and knock them down. You put another Foresight up, etc. You could also, if you wanted to, I guess, just do a Qui-Gon Jinn lead, and then watch your team just slowly die one by one. And every time, you start with 5 Foresights, they kill someone, you get another 4. They kill someone, you get another 3. They kill someone, you get 2. They kill someone, you get the idea. You can get that evasion one fairly easily if you so desire. If it's a huge pain, though, just skip it. I didn't mark it as something that I'm doing. So Sector 3, I changed this to saying, let's see, you don't use Boss Nass. You don't try to protect Boss Nass. In the boss, you could use Rey if you happen to have her. Boss Nass is just going to be, for most people, 3 stars, or maybe a little more for because of the weird farming schedule that they've set us up with. But for the most part, you can skip a lot in Sector 3. This is where they start to become more more worthwhile. But momentum, you don't want to try that with just Scion of Jango. You want it with Tuskens, and if you don't have Tuskens, then just frickin' skip it. We have lots of wiggle room. Same with Purge and Inquisition. If you don't have Inquisition, don't worry about it. Otherwise, you just want Foresight. Remember how I was talking last slide about how you get evades? You get Foresight with your Jedi teams. Imagine that. And then droid kills. Guys, General Grievous is so good here. If you want to add, honestly, what I should have done here, and I apologize for not, is BB-8 instead of Droideka is amazing with the droid kills, because you're going to, if you have BB-8 worked on at least, because you get so much turn meter to start with that, especially if you have good Datacrons, you just kind of roll over your opposition. So 26 instead of the 30 that we had previously marked, but I think it's more realistic to just ignore trying to keep old jowls alive. Sector 4, I did take off one of them. Jedi Knight Cal Kestis, because I have him, but he's a new character for the most part. We're not counting him as like a character that everyone quote unquote should have yet. So I took him off here. Things to keep in mind here, folks. So the trooper kills and ability blocks. You do the ability block with the Veer's AoE, and it's only a 55% chance to proc. The only thing I wanted you to keep in mind is if there's some reason, if they have like tenacity up, or maybe. Now I'm just trying to remember, if there's any reason they can't get ability, if they're immune to ability block, then it won't count as an attempt. But the other thing I want to point out, folks, and this is really vital, because if you have a good Dark Trooper, but we're in Sector 4, all of the enemy teams are crazy fast. Remember, troopers are all speed, they're turn meter based off of how many buffs they are receiving. And so if you have that second build that I was showing you guys on the data disk section with heal over times and entrenched and everything, you're going to start with turn meter on entrenched, and then heal over times, you're going to be gaining a bunch of turn meter every turn. And then if you use Watt, you can see my Watt is pretty garbage here, but if you use his basic, you'll start with 20% turn meter. However, heal over times you have on that team, or on each character, whatever on the squad, then you're going to be gaining turn meter for those as well, and that's how you get all of your ability block and your trooper kills. It's fairly simple. Rebel wins, just remember the Adred kills Imperials fairly easily because of all the days mechanics and everything. And CLS, you might want to save your CLS squad for the next zone, though you will get Rebel wins here. Leia makes this zone so cool, but if you don't have Leia, most people watching this guide probably don't, then don't worry about it. Just just a couple random notes about stealth if you really want to do that one. R2-D2 provides a lot of stealth, and then using the translation ability from C-3PO, getting 3 stacks of translation on R2-D2, and then using basic on C-3PO from then on is going to reduce, like R2-D2 is just going to be able to spam his stealth, and yes, it takes a while, so that's something that I'm like, yeah, just do that if you really have to, if you really want to. Otherwise, I would leave stealth alone. That's a lot of stealth, folks. Okay, so this one, so no Inquisition here, and that's totally fine. I also, yeah, so I'm just skipping the final boss, guys. I told you we're skipping it, so -9 here. Honestly, -12 for that node, which kind of hurts, but you can complete this whole entire zone with just CLS. You get no tanks, because there's no tanks on the team. Surprise! Blind is one that you just have to make Chupio a little bit faster, and then he does an AoE with it. If you have Jabba, makes it even easier. And then evasion down. Every time someone goes, Chupio assists and tries to put evasion down. And then the mini boss team, this is the one that Celiac Sarah uses, and I recommend you guys go search her and her videos. They're a fantastic resource in Conquest. For the mini boss here, you can see just using BAM, and then you want IG-11 to cleanse, because there's a ton of debuffs that hit you, and you really want to be able to cleanse with him, and he passively cleanses everyone every time he's about to take a turn. This is a really good team to be able to use for it, and it's the way you get the unaligned force user, or the non-Jedi unaligned force user, etc. wins. So yeah, Sector 5, you can do so much with just a CLS squad. It really is just insane. And then 60 key cards for the global feats. Just stay on the bonus node, the challenge path, whatever it's called, to be able to get 15. Killing those battle droids, I forget which node it is, it's one of the bosses. If you have a Galactic Legend, it's fairly simple to get, especially a Galactic Legend that ramps damage enough to be able to start one-shotting the B1s. If you don't want to do it, I actually just didn't complete it on any of my accounts. I kind of just got to my goals before I got around to doing it, and that's fine. The Galactic Republic one, there's a lot of different Galactic Republic teams. You have to get wins, you have to be consistent, but fair enough. And then the back in IG-12, a lot of you won't have them farmed and stuff. If you don't have them farmed, maybe just give up on this one too if you can afford it. But if you have Rey, then she can keep them. Just put Lifeblood up a ton with Rey and keep them alive until you win, and that's easy enough. So our goal here, I mean, fair enough, guys. I updated the Sector 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and global feats to reflect what our new values, what our new goals are, and then I also we need 123 plus from feats instead of just 120, because we're skipping the 3 stars on the final node. But yeah, time. So we can skip. We needed 123, and I identified 226 that we can complete without much challenge at all. So I mean, now just pick 100 key cards worth of feats that you just don't have to do, or get sloppy and don't do all of your 3-star nodes. I mean, I would recommend trying to get 3 stars anyways, but just so it's easy for you moving forward, so that you don't have to worry about as much. But yeah, this is such a straightforward way of doing things, guys. And then finally, one thing that people have been asking me for, and this is just a really brief discussion on Datacrons and the farming of them. We're gonna go more in depth on this, guys. So first off, there's an infographic on my Discord server about which Datacrons to get, which ones you can have. Just find the link in my video description for the Discord server, and you can find it. So you can see the tiny little thumbnail of it right above my head. So just really briefly though, folks, like, where do you get the most value? So Sector 1 node is where you're gonna farm your Datacrons, that like the actual Datacrons themselves. You don't want to use the shop for anything other than reroll materials. You would do want that, and for data cache, use your your shard shop currency there, if that's something you want to do. Otherwise, farm all the Nucrons from Sector 1, farm upgrade mats from Sector 4, and so my rule of thumb, guys, and this isn't exact, so don't try to nitpick me, or if you do, then you're dumb. And it costs about 7 million data cash to upgrade one Datacron from just level 1 to, or level 0 all the way up to level 9. It costs 300 Mark II upgrade mats and 200 Mark III mats. And so you'll get, so farm all of this stuff from Sector 4 until you have too many Mark III mats, then go to Sector 3 and farm them there. So that's it, folks. What do you think about Conquest? Is it fun? Is it awesome? Is this new format, this new layout a little bit better? I want to get more insight on these things, guys. And like I said, I'm going to start taking notes. God help us all. So thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Xerath prevails.